Hi, my name is Juan Aladino. In this presentation, I analyze WISE as a social technical system from the perspective of its designers. WISE has an inspiring mission, enabling money without borders. I personally believe in this mission and I work inside the company, which gives me a position to observe how the system functions in practice. My goal today is not to criticize WISE as an unethical. Instead, I want to examine how even ethically ambitious systems can generate unintended consequences. Using decision analysis and ethics theory, I explore how WISE empowers people globally while also creating risks that designers must anticipate. What WISE is? WISE is a global platform for cross-border payments designed to reduce fees and increase accessibility. It empowers migrants, freelancers, and businesses who depend on international transfers to support their families, invest in work, and participate in the global economy. WISE positions itself as an infrastructure rather than a traditional bank. This is important because infrastructure is never neutral. It reshapes power, behavior, and sustainability at scale. That makes WISE ethically interesting. It is not just a service, but part of a global financial architecture. This leads to a key tension. Good intentions do not automatically produce harmless outcomes. Sustainability and ethics are not only about intention, they are about how systems behave over time and across different populations. WISE represents a case where empowerment and risk coexist. My analysis focuses on that tension, how a system designed to increase fairness can still generate new forms of exclusion. According to the design basis framework, the frame defines what designers see as the problem they are solving. I feel that WISE frames borders and banking inefficiency as injustice. The design goal is liberation through access, faster, cheaper, and more transparent money movement. However, frames also hide issues. The WISE frame prioritizes speed and accessibility, but it does not explicitly frame environmental cost, digital dependency, or the vulnerability of excluded populations. What is outside the frame does not disappear, it simply becomes invisible to decision making. Preferences reveal value conflicts embedded in design. In WISE, these preferences are distributed across different organizational roles. Security teams prioritize fraud prevention. Growth teams prioritize adoption and reach. Users want convenience and speed. Meanwhile, vulnerable populations need recoverability, flexibility, and dignity. WISE strongly reflects institutional preferences, but not all users' needs are equally represented. This imbalance is not malicious, it is structural. It emerges from how organizations optimize for measurable goals. One unintended consequence appears in authentication design. WISE relies heavily on smartphone authentication, Face ID, and email verification. While these measures increase security, they assume universal digital literacy and device access. In practice, I have observed older or vulnerable users struggle to access their funds after they lost access to their phone or to their email accounts. Access to money becomes conditional on access to this digital identity infrastructure. This creates a social technical dependency. People who want or need alternative participation, whether due to age, disability, or personal choice, face exclusion. Security improves, but accessibility decreases. Another unintended consequences arises from automated sanctions screening. Transfers flagged by automated systems can take days or weeks to review. Wealthier users can cancel the transfer and use alternative financial services, but poorer users often cannot. They must wait, effectively losing access to their essential funds. This creates unequal weighting. The system treats all flagged transactions the same, but the social impact is not equal. Additionally, WISE's borderless mission is not universal. Users from sanctioned countries still encounter functional borders. This reveals how global political power shapes digital infrastructure. Importantly, alternatives always exist. WISE could explore human mediated recovery channels, slower but safer authentication modes, or contextual sanctions review that considers users' vulnerability. These alternatives trade efficiency for equity. Choosing not to implement them is not a technical necessity, it is a value decision. Design always reflects priorities. Designers operate under uncertainty. Many consequences were not predictable at the time of system creation. The interaction between automation, inequality, and geopolitics creates unknown unknowns, outcomes that cannot be forecast in advance. WISE participates in building a global financial infrastructure, but the long term social and environmental effects remain uncertain. Uncertainty is not a failure, it is a condition of complex systems, particularly as WISE. In lecture 3, describes myopia as focusing on measurable short term goals. Fraud metrics, growth rates, and operational efficiency are visible and trackable. By contrast, the emotional harm to locked out users is harder to quantify. Myopia reflects organizational logic rather than bad intentions. Systems optimize for what can be measured, not necessarily for what matters most. White also illustrates techno-solutionism, the belief that technical organization and optimization improve society. Frictionless finance appears universal beneficial. That's true. However, friction sometimes protects people. Exclusion and dependency are emergent outcomes. They are not designed deliberately, they arise from layer optimization interacting with social reality. This is known as an accidental evil, a harm without the malicious intent. Efficiency also creates environmental rebound. Faster and cheaper transfers increase financial activity. More activity requires more infrastructure and more data centers and more energy. WISE rarely communicates environmental impact to users. Without transparency, customers cannot weigh convenience against ecological cost. Efficiency without visibility risks hiding sustainability trade offs. From a consequentialist perspective, WISE produces enormous empowerment. It lowers fees, it expands access globally, but harm concentrates on minorities, digital excluded users, fraud victims, and environmental externalities. Consequentialism reveals moral ambiguity rather than simple judgment. The system produces both good and harm simultaneously. Deontological ethics emphasizes duty. Systems have the obligation to protect vulnerable users and preserve access to one's own resources. Care ethics adds another dimension. Relationships matter more than efficiency. Financial dignity should not depend entirely on technical competences. A humane system prioritizes recovery, protection, and compassion. Virtue ethics asks what kind of organization WISE is becoming. It already embodies courage, innovation, and fairness. To support long term sustainability, it must also cultivate prudence, humility, and care. These virtues allow organizations to acknowledge limits and design responsibly under uncertainty. In conclusion, WISE demonstrates that empowerment and unintended harm can coexist. Ethical fintech is not about perfection, it is about responsibility under uncertainty. The challenge is to anticipate exclusion, acknowledge system risks, and design systems that treat vulnerability as essential rather than marginal. Ethical infrastructure must account for those who struggle, not only those who succeed or do well with the business. Thank you.